According to Henry Cejudo, his comeback fight in the UFC will be for a title and may take place within the next 2 months. The former double champion revealed this information while appearing on the LFA 149 broadcast in Chandler, Arizona. He stated that the UFC is currently arranging a match between him and current bantamweight champion Aljamain Sterling at UFC 285, a pay-per-view event scheduled to happen on March 4th at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Do you think UFC will allow this fight to happen? First up, why did Henry Cejudo think he could easily beat Aljamain Sterling? It appears that Henry Cejudo and Aljamain Sterling may be the next matchup for the UFC bantamweight title, though the organization has yet to make an official confirmation. Cejudo, also known as Triple C, retired from the sport in 2020 after vacating the 135-pound title that Sterling currently holds. Although Cejudo has previously hinted at a comeback, his recent statements suggest that he is more committed to returning to the ring than ever before. Henry Cejudo, also known as Triple C, is confident that he will defeat Aljamain Sterling, also known as Funk Master, in their upcoming bantamweight title fight. Although the UFC has yet to confirm the matchup, Cejudo believes that Sterling's ambition to move up to a higher weight class is a sign of defeat. In a recent video on YouTube, Cejudo criticized Sterling for taking a month-long trip to Jamaica and focusing on partying rather than training. He stated, "Going out to Jamaica for a month, out there chasing girls, getting fat, sipping on Hennessy, him talking about going up to 145 pounds, it lets you know where his attitude is. When I smell something like that, I know I'm finishing him. I know he ain't going past 3 rounds. Cejudo, a former Olympic gold medalist in freestyle wrestling, has defeated many of the biggest names in the sport, including Demetrius Johnson, Dominic Cruz, and TJ Dillashaw. If he can defeat Sterling, he'll add another notable victory to his already impressive record. Up next, what is the next step for Henry Cejudo and his anticipated fight against Aljamain Sterling? Former 2-division UFC champion Henry Cejudo seems to be ramping up his training as he prepares for a highly anticipated return to the octagon to face Aljamain Sterling. In 2020, Cejudo surprisingly announced his retirement after successfully defending his bantamweight title against Dominic Cruz at UFC 249. However, many believe the decision was only temporary, as he had been teasing a comeback for some time. Last year, Cejudo indicated that he was considering a return to the sport by re-entering the US ADA testing pool. He also stated that he wanted to challenge Alexander Volkanovski's featherweight title. However, the UFC and Dana White stopped Cejudo's plans for a 3-division championship run for the time being. With that in mind, Cejudo has set his sights on regaining the bantamweight title before attempting to make history by moving up to featherweight. He has been engaging in a back and forth with the current bantamweight champion, Sterling, who most recently defended his belt against TJ Dillashaw at UFC 280. Sterling had originally suggested that his next defense would occur in the summer of 2023. Still, he recently revealed that a match with Cejudo is nearly finalized and expected to happen in March. Cejudo has not yet provided a specific date, but his recent video on YouTube confirms that the fight is imminent. Next up, has preparations begun despite no official date yet? As the new year begins, it appears that former champion Henry Cejudo has officially begun training camp for his highly anticipated return to the bantamweight division. The 35-year-old has posted a video on social media depicting him drilling, striking, and grappling techniques, including refining his back control. Cejudo recently claimed that the fight is signed on his end, but an official announcement from the promotion is yet to be made due to a delay on Aljamain Sterling's side. Meanwhile, bantamweight contender Corey Sandhagen has predicted the potential title fight between Sterling and Cejudo. Sterling, who has legitimized his reign as champion with back-to-back defenses of his belt, is looking to make a 3rd defense of his title in the coming months. Although Sean O'Malley has staked his claim for a shot at the belt, it appears that Cejudo will be next in line for the opportunity to challenge for the championship. Cejudo, who retired in 2020, but has remained present in the MMA scene through coaching and comeback teases, re-entered the US ADA testing pool last year in preparation for his return to the bantamweight division. According to Sterling, the fight is likely to occur in March, but an official announcement has yet to be made. With both fighters appearing to have begun their fight camps, the grappler versus grappler showdown is eagerly eagerly anticipated by fans and experts alike. And now, Henry Cejudo wants Aljamain Sterling to accept the UFC 285 title bout, so he tells him to keep away from that Hennessy. According to former double champion Henry Cejudo, his return to the UFC will be a title shot and could happen as soon as 2 months from now. During a broadcast of LFA 149 in Chandler, Arizona, Cejudo confirmed that the promotion is planning a fight against current bantamweight champion Aljamain Sterling at UFC 285. This pay-per-view event is scheduled for March 4th at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Cejudo stated that the UFC is targeting the event for March 5th. He also mentioned that it will be up to Sterling to get in shape for the fight and to stay away from alcohol. Sterling has previously mentioned that this matchup will be next, but did not specify an exact date other than mentioning March. This information was also previously reported on the December 6th episode of Spinning Back Click on MMA Junkie. Cejudo, who had not fought since May 2020 when he successfully defended his UFC bantamweight title against Dominic Cruz, stated that he needed a break and has been taking time off to spend with his family. He's now ready to come back and compete again. Up next, Aljamain Sterling claims that Henry Cejudo has been making racist jokes reminiscent of middle school. Aljamain Sterling has accused Henry Cejudo of making racial jokes reminiscent of those heard in high school. The two have recently been engaging in a back and forth on social media, with a title fight between them being discussed as Cejudo looks to come out of retirement. Sterling accused during an episode of his podcast, saying that all of Cejudo's jokes thus far have been racial in nature and that he doesn't want to start a race war as it is beneath him now. He mentioned that he could arrive at the press conference for their fight and throw a burrito at Cejudo due to his Mexican heritage, but acknowledged how it would make him look. Sandhagen identifies advantages that could be huge for champion Sterling. Cejudo tips Sandhagen to win his fight, but reverse is the case in Cejudo's fight. Corey Sandhagen recently spoke with Middle Easy about the upcoming title fight between champion Sterling and Cejudo, and expressed his desire to face the winner in 2023. Despite Cejudo's accomplished career in the UFC, including an Olympic victory in freestyle wrestling, Sandhagen believes that Sterling's size advantage will be too much for the former flyweight and bantamweight king to handle. He predicts that Sterling will come out on top due to his size advantage, and that the fight will likely devolve into a kickboxing match, with Sterling trying to take Cejudo's back but not succeeding. Sandhagen also mentioned that Cejudo's smaller size will play a significant role in the fight's outcome. Others have speculated that Funkmaster may have an advantage if the fight turned into a wrestling battle. Still, Sandhagen believes that the common belief that two ground specialists will ultimately strike holds in this matchup. In other related news, why is UFC president Dana White under fire? Dana White, president of UFC, is facing backlash after he and his wife Ann were captured on camera getting physical at a New Year's Eve party. The incident occurred at a nightclub in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, where the couple had gone to celebrate the new year. Eyewitnesses reported that White and his wife had been heavily intoxicated during the altercation and started with a brief conversation before escalating into physical violence. Both White and his wife have since apologized to each other. In a recent interview with TMZ, White stated that he was embarrassed by the incident, but that his primary concern was for his 3 children, to whom he and his wife have shown the video. He also reiterated his belief that there is never an excuse for a man to put his hands on a woman. In a recent interview with TMZ, Dana White reflected on the altercation with his wife, saying, "You've heard me say for years that there's never an excuse for a guy to put his hands on a woman, and now here I am on TMZ talking about it. My wife and I have been married for almost 30 years. We've known each other since we were 12 and have been through a lot together. This is a horrible situation and I'm embarrassed by it. However, our primary focus right now is on our 3 children. We've shown them the video and are working on healing our family. I understand that people will have their opinions on this, but in my case, there is no excuse for violence against women. My wife and I love each other deeply. This is just an unfortunate situation." So, what has been the reaction of the couple after the incident? When White was asked if he could recall the events that occurred with his wife at the club, he replied with a chuckle, "No, I don't remember much about it." He said, "This is obviously an embarrassing situation for both of us, but our main concern right now is our children." White emphasized that the altercation depicted in the video was an isolated incident and that things had quickly returned to normal afterward. He also added that he and his wife, Ann, had been together for almost 30 years and that this kind of behavior was completely out of character for him. him. White's wife also shared her thoughts on the matter, with TMZ saying, "On New Year's Eve, we both had too much to drink and things got out of hand. As a family, we talked about it and apologized to each other. Please respect our privacy for the sake of our children." It's worth noting that both White's involvement in the UFC and his personal life has been quite busy in the past year. Additionally, White recently made the Variety 500 list of successful business people alongside UFC owner Ari Emanuel. As for potential legal repercussions, the UFC has not yet made any public statements about the incident or White. Unfortunately, guys, that is all the time we have for today. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Till next time, cheers.